We have another contract extension to talk about here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Welcome into the show. And TJ Edwards joins Kyler Gordon to get a multi-year extension with 1 year left on his current contract. We'll kind of walk through those details, why I believe this is a pretty team-friendly deal and the right move by the Chicago Bears. And then we'll kind of just take a look big picture as we're just over a week out from the NFL draft. Speaking of which, tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central, we might go live at 12:30, but at 1 o'clock Central, Chat Sports is doing a full Chat Sports live NFL draft. We're going to be live on 18 different YouTube channels, a bunch of our team channels, and we're going to do a 3-round mock. So you guys will get to see who myself and producer Cullen would take at picks 10, 39, 41, and 72 in the upcoming NFL draft. So subscribe, join us for that, and listen, we just crossed 120,000 subscribers, so if you want to join the family here, we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Okay, TJ Edwards, 2-year extension worth $20 million. He gets $16.6 million guaranteed, so it's mostly a 2-year extension. Now, we'll see what the structure is, especially with the 1 year remaining on his current contract, which I believe is for like $7 million. I'd have to go double check that, but essentially it turns into like a 3 for 27 when you add it all up. We'll see what the cap hits are. If it changes this year, if it gets lowered this year, or if they backload it, or if it's kind of a flat cap hit number, which they've done on a lot of their deals in the past under Ryan Poles. But I like this move. And, you know, I've seen some conflicting opinions and tweets about this extension on social media. Some really positive like me, and I'm not just trying to toe the company line here. I like this extension for a couple of reasons. One, the Bears linebacker position beyond this year, and really even this year from a depth standpoint, has real question marks. You let Jack Sanborn go, which I didn't love at the time. I still don't love, but I think they want to get more athletic there. More on that a little bit. Tremaine Edmunds has been, I would say, an average player through 2 years on his 4-year contract, and there's an out after this year. I would say this is a signal that unless Tremaine lights it up this year, this will probably be his last season in Chicago. Now, if he has a great year, okay, they could keep him through next year, maybe even extend him on a lower per-year basis than what they did before to lower his cap hit next year. They would have options. Obviously, we all want Tremaine to play well. Leader, great guy, but he's just been kind of an average player. And I just think he's smart. I think TJ Edwards is a smart player. He likes being in Chicago, played his college ball at Wisconsin, Chicago area guy, grew up a Bears fan. But again, with the uncertainty of this position moving forward, with Tremaine potentially going to be gone after this year, and with Edwards, who was set to be a free agent, there was a scenario where you were going to have to completely reset this room next year, and you don't want to do that. TJ is still a good enough player. 2-year extension, I'm fine with it, even if he starts to decline a little bit, because that's kind of been the negative side of the opinions I've seen. He's not that athletic. Is he going to age well? Is this going to be Danny Trevathan 2.0? Well, the difference in that, if you want to make that comparison, is one, Trevathan had some injuries. TJ Edwards, his last 3 years, going back to his last season in Philadelphia, has missed 0 games. He's played in all 17 games. The year before that, he played in 16. In 2020, he played in 12 out of 16. That was the last 16-game season. And his rookie year, he played in 16 games. He's missed 5 games in 6 seasons. 0 games the last 3 years. He is a durable player. Now, from an athletic profile standpoint, yeah, I would agree. He's an average NFL linebacker athlete. As my cat is running around back here. Didn't realize she got in here. Look, that's why they brought Tremaine in with them when they did. Now, if you want to sit there and say, well, Tremaine hasn't worked out and TJ's not going to age that well, you need to get more athletic, fair enough. I think part of letting Jack Sanborn go, this is just a theory, it hasn't played out yet, I think they're going to probably draft a linebacker with a pretty athletic profile. Carson Swayze is a guy that comes to mind. Demetrius Knight Jr. Is a pretty good athlete. There's some guys later on day 3 that you could target to fill that LB3 role as well. But TJ Edwards is an instinctive player that's smart. Dennis Allen had a guy like Demario Davis in New Orleans who aged nicely despite not being the best athlete, especially later in his career. So he might see some familiarity with TJ that he does in DeMario, but I like what he brings to the table. He's always around the football. He's not great in coverage, but he's passable, and he's a blitzer. He had a career-high 4 sacks last season, 2.5 the year before, so he's a guy that could give you 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 sacks as a blitzing off-ball linebacker. I like the deal. He far outperformed his 3-year, $19 million contract he signed initially. Now he gets $10 million per year, which I think over a 5-year period, if you told me you're giving TJ Edwards 5 years and $40 million, because that's essentially, it's really 5 for 39, I think you'd be like, yeah, he has far earned that. Now, maybe we look back at it and said, yeah, he probably should have been making $10 million initially and we're like 6 or 7 on the back end. Okay, fair enough. But I don't think giving him a raise from $6.5 million to $10 million is going to cripple you financially. Even if he declines a little bit over the next couple of years, he's still going to be a starting caliber player. And ideally, by the time he's in the final year of his contract, or even by next year, the linebacker he's playing next to is better and cheaper. I think that's where whoever you draft potentially comes into play if ultimately Tremaine Edmunds doesn't work out. So I'll ask you guys, grade the TJ Edwards extension, 2 years, $20 million, $16.6 million guaranteed, A, B, C, D, or F. I'll give it a solid B. It's not a home run. He'll be 29 this year, and then the 2 years on the extension, 30 and 31. If he gives you 2 really good solid years and 1 year where it's like, okay, he's declined, I'm okay with this. He kind of had you over a barrel. And quite frankly, if he hit the open market, I think there might be a world where he get 11, 12, $13 million with how productive he's been past couple years. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think $10 million per year for what he brings to the table from an on-the-field standpoint, leadership, teammate, all that stuff, I think he's worth 2 years and $20 million on an extension. I really, really do. I don't think this is Danny Trevathan 2.0, especially given the durability that I pointed to earlier. So, again, to kind of wrap up and a couple thoughts before we get out of here, I do think they'll draft an athletic linebacker. Don't be shocked if it's on day 2, whether it is a Carson Swayze or whether it is a Demetrius Knight Jr. I doubt they get Jahad Campbell because he's going to go round 1, and I don't think they take him at 10. Maybe in some trade down scenario they would consider that, but I doubt it. So I do think they'll do that. And now with the extensions of Tooney and Kyler Gordon, I think other than who you draft and potentially a post-draft signing, I think the defense, you're kind of set with what you go into next year outside of the draft here. I don't think there's any other guys you would extend on the defense. Brisker's not getting an extension with his concussion issue from last year. Kevin Byard's not going to get an extension. They'll play this year out at his age. And so then you start to think, okay, what's another move that could come with the current roster? Well, a Joe Tooney extension. Now, I think that one's going to wait until after the draft. I think both the Bears and Tooney will kind of mutually agree, hey, let's let the draft come and go. Because what if the Bears draft someone that could end up being Tooney's replacement and they don't want to jump the gun on an extension? Now, let me be clear. They need to keep Joe Tooney beyond 1 year. He is still a really good player. I don't view this as a Keenan Allen situation where, if he comes in and gives you just 1 year, let him walk, it's still fine, which I do think it's fine with Keenan. I would not have signed him this free agency period. Joe Tooney is still one of the best at his position, and even if there is a slight dip there, there's still a world where he'd be your best offensive lineman heading into 2026. So that is a guy I do want to extend, but I do see the reason of why you would let the draft come and go. Because even if you draft a linebacker, you still are going to have more than just whoever you draft at linebacker for 2026 and beyond. If they draft Will Campbell and he ultimately ends up being a guard, well, I could see a world where they would let Joe Tooney walk. Again, I wouldn't do that. Not that I wouldn't draft Will Campbell, but I wouldn't let Joe Tooney walk after this year. But there are avenues where that could be a possibility. What if they draft a tackle and a guard? What if a million other things happen? So, given his age and just the fact that they could add at his position where you've already invested a lot in the interior offensive line this offseason, I think you let the draft play out. If you don't add a guy that would be a potential replacement for 2026 and beyond, that's an easy extension after the draft. If you do, maybe you play the year out, or maybe you go through the offseason program and training camp and just kind of see how the guy you drafted is looking. Like, hey, are we projecting this guy to be a starter by 2026? If we are, okay, let's play this year out with Joe Thuney. If not, well, let's go ahead and extend him. I would guess this is a guy that gets extended before week 1, but I don't think it'll come before the draft. I think the two that could have gone, that could have happened before the draft have happened. Kyler Gordon getting 3 years for $40 million, and TJ Edwards getting 2 years for $20 million. Okay, that's going to do it for Chicago Bears now. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. By the way, put out a video a couple of hours ago. Albert Breer had some interesting draft nuggets about who could be available at 10 and who the Bears would take if they are there at 10. So keep an eye, or go check out that video and give me your thoughts on that. Subscribe, go to the content tab. It'll be right there. My name is Harrison Graham. We will see you guys tomorrow live here on the channel for the Chat Sports Live mock draft. See you then.